In this video, we'll talk about how to create a pitch deck for an invention for sale. To upload a pitch to the platform, you must first prepare it in PowerPoint and save it as a PDF. For a pitch to be effective, it should contain the following. 1. A brief description of the company. Include the industry of the company, e.g., transportation, agribusiness, or fintech. 2. Include a picture of the prototype. Take a front view picture of the prototype and include it in the pitch deck. 3. Add a basic description of the prototype. For example, ventilators to assist with breathing. 4. Talk about the need being solved by the prototype. For example, comprehensive fleet management. 5. Talk about the competitor's edge. For example, this is a one-stop shop for all qualitative and quantitative measures. 6. Give us your budget. Give us a detailed breakdown of operational costs plus production costs. 7. Talk about the cost and gross profit, giving a minimum of a 5-year projection. 8. Talk about the investment and return, highlighting what is in it for the buyer. And finally, talk about your team members, those who work tirelessly with you to make this happen. Mention their names and their positions in the company. This is how to create a pitch deck for an invention for sale. We look forward to seeing your pitch decks on the platform. In this video, we'll talk about how to create a pitch deck for a project to receive funding. To upload your pitch to the platform, you must first prepare it in PowerPoint and then save it as a PDF. For a pitch deck to be effective, it should contain the following. Number 1, a brief description of the company, highlighting its industry. Number 2, a brief description of the prototype. Highlight what the prototype is and what it does. Number 3, send us a picture of the prototype. Capture the best view of the prototype. Number 4, talk about the need being solved by the prototype. Why do we need it in this day and age? How is it a game changer? Number 5, talk about your competitor's edge. Number 6, talk about your budget. Break down your operation and production costs. Number 7, talk about your cost and gross profit. Give a minimum 5-year projection. Number 8, talk about your investment and return. What is in it for the buyer? Number 9, talk about participation opportunities. That is, buyback options, equity partnerships, or sale. Number 10, talk about distribution of profits. That is, percentage shares amongst company team members and equity holders. And finally, talk about your team members. Talk about those with you who made this possible. Highlight their names and their positions in the company. This concludes our brief talk on how to create an effective pitch deck for funding. We look forward to seeing your pitches online.
African Welfare Association, AWA, is a non-profit organization with 100% guaranteed assistance for you and your loved ones in the event of loss of life. AWA membership is open to all individuals from the African diaspora Discounted rates are offered to benevolent funds, religious, women's and self-help groups, etc. The AWA model is backed by insurance and is therefore not dependent on member subscription. We have members from Kenya, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, etc. We settle bills right from funeral homes, airlines, and related expenses, including travel for enrolled spouses and children. AWA will liaise with appointed family member and assist with embassy paperwork. A $2,000 stipend is given to bereaved family upon arrival in the home country. AWA also covers funeral expenses, which include burial or cremation should you choose to be laid to rest in your host country. Enrollment is simple. Contact us for more information. Phone +1 202 587 5639. WhatsApp +1 202 999 9175. Email info@africawelfareassociation.org or visit us at www.africawelfareassociation.org.
You have probably purchased insurance to protect your home, your health, and your cars. Have you thought about protection for your family's most important asset? You, and the financial stability your income can provide. If someone would suffer financially because of your death, you probably need life insurance. The proceeds of a life insurance policy are paid to the beneficiary in a generally income tax-free cash benefit in the event of your death. This money can help replace an income or cover any other expenses that may arise. Our products can help protect your family when the unexpected happens. For more information, speak with your Americo representative today.
about how to create a pitch deck for an invention for sale. To upload a pitch to the platform, you must first prepare it in PowerPoint and save it as a PDF. For a pitch to be effective, it should contain the following. 1. A brief description of the company. Include the industry of the company, e.g., transportation, agribusiness, or fintech. 2. Include a picture of the prototype. Take a front view picture of the prototype and include it in the pitch deck. 3. Add a basic description of the prototype. For example, ventilators to assist with breathing. 4. Talk about the need being solved by the prototype. For example, comprehensive fleet management. 5. Talk about the competitor's edge. For example, this is a one-stop shop for all qualitative and quantitative measures. 6. Give us your budget. Give us a detailed breakdown of operational costs plus production costs. 7. Talk about the cost and gross profit, giving a minimum of a 5-year projection. 8. Talk about the investment and return, highlighting what is in it for the buyer. And finally, talk about your team members, those who work tirelessly with you to make this happen. Mention their names and their positions in the company. This is how to create a pitch deck for an invention for sale. We look forward to seeing your pitch decks on the platform. In this video, we'll talk about how to create a pitch deck for a project to receive funding. To upload your pitch to the platform, you must first prepare it in PowerPoint and then save it as a PDF. For a pitch deck to be effective, it should contain the following. Number 1, a brief description of the company, highlighting its industry. Number 2, a brief description of the prototype. Highlight what the prototype is and what it does. Number 3, send us a picture of the prototype. Capture the best view of the prototype. Number 4, talk about the need being solved by the prototype. Why do we need it in this day and age? How is it a game changer? Number 5, talk about your competitor's edge. Number 6, talk about your budget. Break down your operation and production costs. Number 7, talk about your cost and gross profit. Give a minimum 5-year projection. Number 8, talk about your investment and return. What is in it for the buyer? Number 9, talk about participation opportunities. That is, buyback options, equity partnerships, or sale. Number 10, talk about distribution of profits. That is, percentage shares amongst company team members and equity holders. And finally, talk about your team members. Talk about those with you who made this possible. Highlight their names and their positions in the company. This concludes our brief talk on how to create an effective pitch deck for funding. We look forward to seeing your pitches online.
Africa Welfare Association, AWA, is a non-profit organization with 100% guaranteed assistance for you and your loved ones in the event of loss of life. AWA membership is open to all individuals from the African diaspora. Discounted rates are offered to benevolent funds, religious, women's and self-help groups, etc. The AWA model is backed by insurance and is therefore not dependent on member subscription. We have members from Kenya, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Uganda, Tanzania, etc. We settle bills right from funeral homes, airlines, and related expenses, including travel for enrolled spouses and children. AWA will liaise with appointed family member and assist with embassy paperwork. A $2,000 stipend is given to bereaved family upon arrival in the home country. AWA also covers funeral expenses, which include burial or cremation should you choose to be laid to rest in your host country. Enrollment is simple. Contact us for more information. Phone +1 202 587 5639. WhatsApp +1 202 999 9175. Email info@africawelfareassociation.org or visit us at www.africawelfareassociation.org.
You have probably purchased insurance to protect your home, your health, and your cars. Have you thought about protection for your family's most important asset, you, and the financial stability your income can provide? If someone would suffer financially because of your death, you probably need life insurance. The proceeds of a life insurance policy are paid to the beneficiary in a generally income tax-free cash benefit in the event of your death. This money can help replace an income or cover any other expenses that may arise. Our products can help protect your family when the unexpected happens. For more information, speak with your Americo representative today.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good, good.
All right.
Good.
Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Pauline Tiako. I'm with the Original Consulting Agency, and in conjunction with Vescent Computing, who have done an excellent and marvelous job of preparing those videos we just saw, and also who will be running our sound throughout this event. And also, I'd like to thank the panelists, Ms. Christine Moshene, Mr. Lawrence Moriah, Mr. Vincent Mongare, and also Mr. John Nganga. And Mr. Nganga, I understand, will be joining us shortly. So in order to kick off this meeting, the first thing I'll do is to go ahead and ask the panelists, and we're going to start with Mr. Moriah. If you can please introduce yourself and share with us exactly who you are and what exactly you're bringing to us today.
Sure. Thank you, Pauline, and your team for putting together this wonderful session. I'm delighted to be here today on behalf of Africa Welfare. I think I've interacted with Mr. Mongare over the years. Haven't seen him in a while. Good to see you, Vincent. Ms. Moshene, I do see you in certain forums on WhatsApp and all that, but we've never met. Mr. Nganga, I just spoke with him. He's attending to a family who's just been bereaved. He'll be joining us. But on about Africa Welfare Association, this is an outfit that was conceptualized in 2007. It took us quite a number of years to get it to where it is now, where it is sustainable to the community. AWA, in short, came into existence because of the need that most of you are aware of when it comes to repatriation of our loved ones. Over the years, as the population of folks in the diaspora increased, the demand for fundraisers also increased, and the need for extra funds or whatever people had saved increased, and this started to deplete resources that people had put aside. Somebody like Vincent understands very well what it means not to be prepared in such aspects. And that is how AWA then was formed, to help people in the diaspora pay for this unexpected cost. So AWA is a nonprofit. We are there really to serve members of the diaspora. We are not your regular business. Membership is open to anybody who is outside their home country, as long as you are from Africa. So anybody is eligible. We do not exclude anybody, whether somebody has pre-existing conditions, all those things. We are here not to create another problem. We're here to solve a problem. Moving on, I will also be delighted to let you know that AWA, having been in existence, has made itself known to the African missions and embassies from Washington, D.C., in North America, South America, Europe, and West Africa at the moment. We are an open organization. We want people to see what we're doing because, as I said, we're here to serve people as the need arises. So you might ask yourself, you know, we've heard of so many other groups that have come up, some will disappear or some have disappeared. They do serve a purpose. I'm talking about benevolent funds, etc. The main difference between AWA and benevolent funds or chamas is that we have insurance. So your benefit is guaranteed. If you're a member, your benefit is not dependent on how many members we have. It's similar to your car insurance. Can you imagine if you have your car insurance and something happens and they tell you we cannot pay you this week because last week we paid Pauline's car, you have to wait, you know, until we get some more money. So with AWA, this benefit is yours and it is guaranteed 100% by insurance. Our rates are very low, and we'll get to those in a minute. But what also we wanted to do is to make it that it is sustainable, it's affordable to everybody. So it's not something that a lot of people really have to struggle to pay. And by no means do I mean other insurance policies and all that are unaffordable. I think it's what you prioritize, what is important to you being in the community. We serve, again, like I said, benevolent funds, religious groups, women's groups. So anybody who's organized, we're able to work with you, especially if you're already raising money to cater for repatriation. So what does a member get? I like using my own example because end of life is still a taboo discussion where we come from. So we shy away from discussing things in detail. So I'll use myself as an example. So I have a family, two boys, and if anything were to happen to me, I'd be taken back to Kenya, and AWA would cover up to $50,000 to take me back home. My family would get return air tickets. They'll go and come back because this is home now. We no longer go one way. Upon arrival in Kenya, they also get a stipend of $2,000, and they can use that whichever way they want to use it. We don't ask for, we don't manage that money. And the reason we give that $2,000 is because we could not get into agreements with a variety of funeral homes in Africa. So $2,000 we calculated would be sufficient from the point of entry into a country, which is an international airport, to any part of the country that you'll be in. Now, working with Mr. Nganga, who will be joining us later, folks going to Kenya actually through Mr. Nganga do get transported up to the burial site. However, we'll still give you the $2,000 because there are other expenses. You might want to rent a car, get a hotel room. There are other expenses that do come in. For somebody wishing to be laid to rest, say in the US or whatever country they're in, AWA will pay up to $15,000 for that expense. Now, I have to mention that we actually don't give members this money. We work with the funeral homes. So when something happens, we want to be informed and we take over from there. So the purpose of all this is to make sure that you're not relying on fundraisers or your savings and then having to file a claim. If you notify us, we'll take care of everything right from the funeral home. So you might wonder, how much does this cost? We have an age-banded pricing system, and we created this because when we launched, everybody was on the same price. But then, of course, not everybody is the same age. So we unbundled the age, and our rates start as low as $90 a month. Sorry, $90 a year, not a month. I'm used to talking about per month. So the most expensive would be people over 80 years old. Those would be about $400 a year. So all our members actually below the age of 76 would not pay more than $160 per year. If you're talking about family of somebody maybe between 66 to 70, you're looking at about $300 a year. And it's a one-time payment, or you can split it into two. I did mention that, using myself as an example, I have 2 children, and you might ask, what if somebody has 3 children? Any additional child under the age of 21 would be $54 a year. AWA has been able to offer this package by working with an insurer in UK and one in Africa. The company we use based in the UK is called Lincoln Services. They're the ones who, if you ever were traveling and you're buying an air ticket and they tell you, do you want to buy insurance? They provide that insurance to travelers worldwide. So we were able to come up with a deal because there's nothing like this in the market. And they had to actually make a special one just to cover AWA. If you are in Kenya, you might know a company called Resolution. They're the partners for Lincoln. So if somebody was in Kenya, Resolution is the one who'd hand over the money to you. I think, sorry. I think with that, I will then share the contacts. Pauline, I'm not sure we were supposed to have something running to show the contact information, but if somebody wanted to get in touch with us, we are available on WhatsApp. And that number is 202-999-9175. or you can email us at info@africawelfareassociation.org. We'll respond to you. We do prefer WhatsApp, that's a lot quicker. And if you do want to enroll, the website is www.africawelfareassociation.org. I think I will conclude there, and I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mariah, for such a long introduction. We really appreciate your introduction. We can't wait for you to give us the information in full. All righty. Mr. Vincent Mongare, could you do a brief introduction, please? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Pauline and the team who put all this together, and I greatly appreciate. As Lauren said, we've been in several forums together. The goal is, this is one way we give back to the community, just educating our community. And Ms. Mushana, I think we've been with you and Kudo and other various places, and I've seen you on several forums. So thank you for helping our community and helping everyone. Mine, as you've heard, I'm Vincent Mongare, currently Senior Vice President with Invida Financial. What we do with Invida Financial, we help people and families put their financial house in order. So my role, and this is what I bring to the community, is work in conjunction with people like Lawrence, other people around, to help people plan, prepare. Because what happens is that we know the saying that goes, people don't plan to fail, but they fail to plan. So I'm one of those ones who bring this information to the community, and I can say I really enjoy the support of people like you, Pauline, and others who help us to reach our people. So we're gonna share more as the time comes by. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vincent. And now we turn it over to Mrs. Mushene. Welcome, Mrs. Mushene.
Where?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you.
Oh, you can see me?
Yes,
Okay, my name
very
is
beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my name is Christine Mushene, and yeah, I am one of the leaders here in Atlanta, community leaders. I started a medical training center to train CNAs 2004, but by the year 2007, I realized that the community needed more of my help. They would come there with all questions about school, tuition, death, repatriation. So I converted the school into a foundation, Child Africa Foundation. So I've been working with the community here back in Kenya. We have been doing some training. We have been correcting wheelchairs, diapers, walkers, and crutches, which we send home. But mostly the area I have been praying part is when somebody dies in this community. So they came up with this name, Madam President. And when they gave me that name, I realized my work was hard, it was a challenge. So I've been dealing with the people mostly when they lose their loved ones here, whether they'll be buried here or back in Kenya. And personally, last year, I had to bury my husband here. So at least I know all the process which people are supposed to follow. So I am here to work with you guys. You are doing a good job. It's our responsibility to educate our people, because especially during death, I saw it firsthand. If the community, the family, the people around you are not careful, the mourning can be terrible. So I am looking forward to working with all of you in this area. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mushene, for sharing that piece with us. I was just checking to see if Mr. Nganga is on, but he hasn't come on yet. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and continue with the program. So what we are going to do now is we're going to go ahead and ask the team. I think since Lawrence went into quite a bit into it, we're going to start with you, Vincent. Do you have access to share your screen?
Yes, let me try. Now it says disable participant screen sharing. So let's see.
It's still giving you the same thing?
Yes.
Okay. John, are you available to go ahead and screen share Vincent's document? Actually, go ahead, Vincent, go ahead and start and we'll see if you can plug that in as you're going ahead.
Only if you make him a co-host, then he can share, I think, since you're a host.
Okay, let me see if we can do that.
You should be able to share now, Vincent, as a
Okay,
co-host.
thank you.
Right. Okay. So let's see here then. Okay. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. So generally what I was saying here is that thank you for putting all this together. The point is that people don't plan to fail, but they fail to plan. So what we normally bring onto the people is that life is like a puzzle. You're either going to live too long, what have you prepared for? Or you become too sick or die too soon. For the purpose of this conversation today, we're gonna deal with if you die too soon. So what have you prepared? That's what we bring onto the community and to the family. Because people live in a denial mode. The fact is one of them will occur, whether we like it or not. So in that case, if you are planning, like for example, for our people who have said, like you heard from Lawrence, if something happens to me, I'll be taken back home. Safari ya mwisho. Where is the ticket? That is what people have not come into terms. So my work is to tell people that it is the ticket, it is the normal ticket, and it is a reality. And then I break it down to tell them that it is all about money. The point is that when people hear about insurance, they only think about death. No, insurance is about the planning. What you have in place for that final safari. Now, if you've already seen Lawrence or you've seen you've made any preparation, then that's good for you. But if you have not, this is where we come into terms and say about the money. It is not how much you make. It is how much you keep and where do you put it. The place where you put it, when that time comes, will it be there and will it be enough? So what you're seeing here on the screen is what we normally on the full financial services, we say a risk tolerance chart, which is supposed to show you where do you put your money. We have the banking system, we have the lowest level, which is the insurance system. The insurance institutions, as you heard from Mr. Moriah, they are financial institutions competing for your money. The question is, what do you get? So what we normally bring onto the people is that if you are already preparing for that safari ya mwisho, for example, if you're keeping $50 every month in the bank or in the house, we are bringing on to you that That same amount of money is what you need to give into the insurance company. Once you give the insurance company, it will promise you in return, if something happens too soon, we will be there for you. Therefore, our people need to know that insurance is saving by promise. You are giving the insurance company money. In return, they are promising you that whatever you intended to do, if it happens, they will be there for you. So in this case here, when we're talking about dying too soon, where did you put your money? Was it in the bank or in the house or in the insurance company or in a planning like Laurenza said? It is not about how much it cost, it's where did you put the money and did you plan? Now, along those lines, when we have time or in other forums, we'll dip in to see the different types of insurances. Now, for this purpose, on a repatriation insurance, which I call Safari ya Mwisho, it is you imagining that when you're being taken to Kenya, how much do you need and how many people will be there in your trip? It could be 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, or 25,000, or even 50,000. We have all in place. The point is that instead of saving in the bank, give the insurance company, and in return, the insurance promises you that we will be there for you, giving you all that promise. I have this formula we normally use. D-I-C for cat E, dice. That is the amount of money you need. Dice, D stands for how much madeni do you have? That if anything happens, your people will be left in problem. How much income is going to stop as a result of you? So you have something to replace your income. Then the cost, the actual cost of the burial, and then expenses. So when you have all those in place, and sadly enough, I hear people saying, I don't want to leave money for people after I'm gone. No. You are not leaving money for people. You are going with your mizigo. So that is what we normally say. Put your plans together. And then on top of that, which you could talk more about the insurances, what kinds of insurances, we now come to the real planning that is on estate planning. This is another area whereby most of the people are forgotten and the ends up to be fights. In summary, this is how we put it. Who is in charge of your affairs when you are alive? And who do you want to control your affairs when you are gone? How do you want your assets to be distributed? How do you want your assets to be managed? That brings us to trust and the will. Trust and the will, they're almost the same, but in simple terms, this is how you should look at it. A will is more or less a statement whereby you just say what you want to be done. But a trust is more powerful. It's like you, it's a living document. So we will help you to connect you to the lawyers who will, with digital age, who will help you to put all these documents together. So what you need to know is how is your assets going to be distributed, and therefore you are the one creating the documents. Who is the trustee, and the will? Within the will, who will be the executor? Who will be the beneficiary? And the guardian for those ones who have kids who are younger than 18 and below, who will take care of your kids when you are not there. So in summary, this is what we bring in on the people. I act as a coordinator to help you identify these areas so that we don't fall onto this category that we throw everything into the community. You've heard that in some places, in most cases here in America, when the American or an organized person, a person who has planned their life together, they go, families come together because they know that a legacy has been left behind, whereby there's wills and the trust. They want to see what is contained in it. What did grandma leave me? But then when an African goes, especially maybe a Kenyan, as you've seen lately, when the grandma goes, what's the legacy? We are left with bills, pardon, GoFundMe, and Michango. Those things have to stop. It's because of that planning. So in summary, what we're bringing onto the table is just the coordination of telling people that these things are not hard. It is, where did you put your little money? Will it be there? Will it be enough? Repositioning the same amount of money that you're putting in the bank or investing elsewhere. So addressing that if needed, it should be able to be there for you. And then we also connect you to setting up your documentation for the trust or a will. A trust is usually if you have more than, your net worth is more than 50,000, give and take, then it needs a trust because more information will be given. But if your net worth is 50,000 and below, we just recommend a will because you just state what it is. Keep in mind that a will can be contested, but the trust will not. So these are some of the things maybe we can answer on the Q&A. And for that, back to you, Pauline.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Quick question, Lawrence, did you want me to just run the screen and then you just go over the main points before we join, we have Christine join us?
That would be fine. I could add a few things.
Let me stop sharing mine.
Are you going to run it, or are you giving me access?
You want to have access? Okay, I'll give you access. If
No. Go ahead. Go ahead, put it on.
I'll give you access. Thank you.
All right, 1 second. Let me pull it up.
In the meantime, Mrs. Christine Moshana, if you can go ahead and just get prepared, we'll go ahead and have you join in shortly. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
And Pauline, as I got this, keep looking out for Mr. Ganga.
Did you manage to get it?
I'm getting there just now. See, that's why I wanted you to stay with it. All right, you all can see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. So AWA, we talk about giving you peace of mind. Since I went through, this is what I was talking about through my slides, so I'm gonna just jump around, but I'm gonna also start by saying in support of what Vincent was saying is that we failed to plan for what we know is gonna happen. One thing that I've noticed, we will go and buy a lottery ticket where the chances of winning are 1 in, I don't know how many millions. And yet when we talk about what Vincent has, life insurance and all that, those are certainties. We're all going to go. It just depends on when. But that is not a lottery ticket we ever want to buy. If you ever look at other communities, they don't do what we do, which is fundraising, depending on well wishers, and so on. They actually actively invest because they know when your time comes, you're even going to create wealth. Most of you might have heard of endowments when you're listening to NPR. They say this family supports this program and all that. The way they do it is not that they go and earn money and contribute. They've purchased life insurance policies that pay into those organizations when somebody in their family dies. So it's something that they learned long ago, that don't die for free. Create wealth for those that you leave behind. And I just wanted to say that in support of what Vincent was talking about. Back to AWA, and Vincent, when you sell, remember me. Back to AWA, I did mention about sustainability. This is a program that will be there long after we're gone. As I mentioned, it is not a chama. We are not pulling money. We have insurance. So people like Vincent and the company he works for might be providing this insurance to ensure that you do get paid when the time comes. Here are the benefits that we were talking about. The 50,000 is the limit. It does look like it's very high, and I can explain why we have 50,000. This is because we do not want to change our rates for the next 20 or 30 years. Now, the cost of living in that time will have gone up. And if we keep on charging the same amount and we're able to provide up to 50,000, we're very confident that even in 20, 30 years, we'll be able to cover the full cost of repatriating someone home. It's important also to talk about funerals or cremations in the country of residence. This also caters to our Muslim brothers and sisters who need to be laid to rest within a stipulated period, which is, I think, about 24 hours. The rates I was talking about, so you can just take a look and see where you fall. Anybody in that age bracket, these are annual rates. If you're not able to pay the annual rates, then we can split your payment into two. One thing that I failed to mention earlier, and thank you, Pauline, for giving me this chance again, is that for those of us over 50, there is a simple medical questionnaire. And if you remember earlier, I'd mentioned that anybody and everybody is eligible. We do not exclude anyone for any reason. The medical questionnaire is simply there so that your premium can be adjusted to be able to give you the benefit as your health is at that particular moment. And I think even Vincent, on your health insurance, life insurance, I don't know if you do have that premium rating depending on somebody's health status. It is not there to exclude anybody, it's to make sure you are included. We never want a situation where when it's time to pay out, the insurance says, well, but you did not tell us that XYZ had this or that condition. Again, here are our good partners. And there you can see our contact information. One of the other things that we're trying to do at AWA is to give our members benefits that they can use when they're leaving. We've had an existing agreement with British Airways where if you want to travel to anywhere for any reason, you'd enjoy a 15% discount. Last week, we initiated a discussion with Emirates so that people can, when people start traveling again, you don't have to be going for a funeral to get this discount. We'll keep on talking to other people like Verizon, Costco. Anything that we can give of value to our members, we're going to be able to do that. So I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to hold the questions for the end. These are questions that came from other chats as well as people who are actually here participating. So what we'll do is we'll give Mrs. Moshene a chance to explain to us about her journey and how she was able to handle the situation with her late husband and some of the things that people don't normally know until they actually get in that situation. So Mrs. Moshene, the floor is yours now. we saved the best for last.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pauline, for making this discussion available. I am hoping that most people will be listening because these are vital information. Now, Mrs. Moshane here has been dealing with death in our community here in Atlanta, like mobilizing people when somebody dies, mobilizing people. Then I work with the funeral home, I work with the cemetery, plus of course the other leaders in the community. I have been doing this for many years. I am almost 20 years in this country, but last year I had my own personal experience. My husband was never sick, was not on any medication. He left me here on a Tuesday morning and he said he was going to fix our son's car and then go to work. 5 hours later, I received a call from Keneston Hospital. They asked me, who are you? I said, Christine Moshene. Do you know Francis Chege? I said, yes. Who is he to you? I said, my husband. So they said, he has been brought here by ambulance and he's unresponsive. I said, unresponsive? Is he dead or alive? So he said, ma'am, he's unresponsive. Can you come here in the next 10 minutes? So I called my pastor, I called my children, and it is like 10 minutes from my house to the hospital. Now, moving forward, 2 days in ICU, they decided that they are not having any improvement and they required that we consent, or I consent, for them to turn off the machine. So when this happened, it was a big deal to me and my family. I have 4 children. 3 are here, 1 is in UK. So to decide to sign that paper, I said, no, I'm not going to sign. But finally, I asked for second opinion, that opinion from Kenyan doctors who have been trained here. And each one of them said, Ms. Moshene, sorry, even if he stayed in this machine for a year, he's not going to come back. So that Thursday afternoon, the machines were turned off and then we started now the morning. So when it comes to mourning, it is a lot of stuff involved. Now, I know I was married to my husband for 42 years, but when death came, I realized I am not the paramount decider of how he will be buried, where he will be buried. So I didn't know whether we go home or bury him here. But after talking to my adult children and also remembering what he used to say when he was alive, we decided to lay him here. He always wanted to be near his children and grandchildren. So when it comes to burying here, people think it is cheap. Let me go. Okay. There wasn't much handle between me and my brothers and sisters-in-law. They trusted my judgment. Now, the next thing was to raise money because people might think that burying somebody here is cheap. It's not cheap. I spent 12,000 between the funeral home and the cemetery, plus another 2,400 for the name plate there. So you can call it like 15, 16,000. To raise 16,000 is not easy. And especially in this growing community where we live in Atlanta, we find sometimes 2, 3 people dead within the same month or even the same week. So it becomes very, very hard. So when now it became my time, I realized what other people have been going through. All those 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 3 weeks we are at home, I'm not working, my children are not working, then there is no money coming into the family. So when Pauline told me about this, I thought it was a very important thing to at least plan. I was blessed, or I am lucky because I am in the community, I'm known. So within 2 days, we had a fundraiser and we got the money we needed to lay him to rest and then bring 2 people from Kenya. Now, taking a body to Kenya is actually cheaper than burying here. But what makes it more expensive, because burying here in Atlanta is between 12 to 15,000 K between the funeral and the cemetery. Sending the body to Kenya is between 11,000 to 12,000. I'm talking about Atlanta. I don't know about other places. But now what makes it hard is if we had to take Mr. Mushene to Kenya, it was his ticket, which was $4,000. My ticket, I have 3 sons. I have and a daughter. I have those 3 sons, they have spouses. My daughter has a spouse. Then 8 grandchildren. So we were looking like something like 60, 70,000 to go to Kenya. So, and then when we go to Kenya, all of us, it means nobody is working. So we come back, the children have lost their man hours where they work. So I know some people just wish to be buried to Kenya, and that is okay. And those who want to be buried here, like my husband and even me, it is still okay. But people should start now planning. When my husband died, I realized, okay, he used to say he doesn't mind being buried here, but did he make arrangements? So after he died, I made an arrangement and I booked my grave. So that when my time comes, I don't want my children to be here a whole 2 weeks trying to raise money to bury me. At least them and a few friends will be able to buy the coffin and maybe pay the funeral home. So I am here to encourage everybody, like what Lawrence and Mogale have said, we have to start planning. If you plan for retirement, why not plan about death? Death is there, whether we like it or not. It's only the time. You don't need to be 60, 66 like my husband. You don't need to be 80. You can die at 20, at 30, 40. So I believe the products we are being given, they will be able to cover everybody in their diaspora. And the best thing I have realized is if you can cover these things and it happens that your loved one lives, at least you'll be mourning without worrying about money. I could not imagine myself here trying to raise 20,000 for a week, for 2 weeks. It could be too much. But thank God, the community came together. Within 3 days, we had the money. So we were just mourning and trying to make the arrangement. So I'm encouraging you there listening, do something about your death. It is coming. There's nothing we can do about it. It's only the time and the mood. You don't need to be sick to die. As I said, for 42 years, my husband has never been admitted in any hospital for a disease. He was not on the medication, but his day came and he went. So with those short remarks, I think I'm done for now.
Thank you very much for sharing with us, Mrs. Mushena. We appreciate, and again, sorry for your loss, and thank you for taking this opportunity to share that with us. Lawrence, I'm still looking out for Mr. Nganga. Is he responded to you yet?
Not yet, yeah. Mr. Nganga just got a family was bereaved, so he was attending to them. So I'm not sure, looking at the time, if he'll be able to join us. But some of you do know Mr. Nganga Bedford Memorial Funeral Home in Texas. He's been taking our loved ones home, not just to Kenya, but all over Africa. And he's somebody actually I've never personally met, but I've worked with him on several occasions where we've been able to repatriate people. And one thing that struck me about Bedford is that they don't discuss the money first. Even for those without money, we've been able to walk around and say, money is not the most important thing when people are bereaved. We don't have a choice when we are taking our loved ones home. It's not like a wedding you can postpone or a birthday. We have to take our loved ones home, or we have to lay them to rest in a respectful way. And that's what we're here to be able to do. Ms. Moshene, Paul Esana, for your loss. I think your story is very strong. And I liked also what you said. Any of us can be gone. Tomorrow you could wake up and you're told that Lawrence went, and you say, but we were with him on Zoom. It can happen. And nobody knows when. And one thing I found is that we're always afraid to plan. And people have told me, oh, this thing you're selling, I'm attracting death. I say, that is not a smart way to think, because if when you plan, you're attracting something, people in the desert will be carrying umbrellas every day so that they can attract rain. You carry the umbrella in case it rains. It does not attract the rain. So whatever you have to do, you plan. If you're traveling, you start planning where you're going. So thank you for what you've shared with us. And Vincent as well. I think our community needs to look at these things, because they do impact us, and it's becoming a lot more difficult to fundraise, GoFundMe and so. And there's nothing wrong with raising funds, but again, using my example, if something happens, I know you guys will raise money, but will you come back next month to raise money for my kids to go to school or pay a mortgage? You'll only do it once. So I think the rest is up to me to organize so that my family continues as though I was still available and bringing the bread home to them.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Let's now go to the Q&A section. The first one in the chat was for Vincent. It says, is this life insurance, will, and trust, is that the same for everyone? So please go ahead and share your answer.
If I understand the question well, is that is it for everyone? Yes, because as you've heard from everyone, what we are actually trying to encourage everyone here is planning.
I'm sorry, let me correct that, because that is something that came out from one of the chats who are not on here on WhatsApp. They're trying to ask if you have a blanket policy across the board for everyone. Is it the same for everybody?
No, because it's for our case now, it is need by case analysis. Your need will be different from any other person or your neighbor. In that case, people who have as Mshana said, her husband had already indicated that he needs to be parodied here. That's like already said what is wanted. Unfortunately, there are so many people who have never said where they want to. So it comes into a family fight. Some will assume he wanted to be taken to Kenya. Some will say he wanted to be here. So those are some of the cases that if you are planning, you need to put it in writing and let other people know.
Yes.
So in that case, it's not for everyone. It's just everybody's needs. And then we encourage you to talk to the financial advisor, talk to us, talk to Lawrence, and then we see where it needs. It might also fall onto the budget. What do you have? Then from there, it will be customized into your need.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the next question was for Lawrence. Can the membership you have, does this include parents and siblings who are in Kenya?
That's a good question. At this moment, the straight answer is no. Our coverage does not extend to people who are not in the diaspora. So this is a program for people who are not in their home country. When this was put together, really, it was just to offer repatriation. So if somebody's in their home country, the need for repatriation is not there. And in Kenya, we do have products that would help somebody, to be laid to rest, etc. So those products are available in Kenya.
Okay, thank you. The next question is again to Vincent. Do you have to schedule appointments to be able to talk to financial advisors, or is this something you go online and just, do it in the system?
It's recommended that you work with a financial advisor so that it can help you to navigate, so that you are able to avoid the fine print, because in that case, you'll have somebody servicing you, like Lawrence, sorry, I'll be using you as an example. He knows his craft. So he will be telling you how they started off, what was the intent, and what is the projection. So when you come to me, I'm representing, for example, now in Vida Financial, we represent about 22 companies. The reason we have all these 22 companies is that we have different people with different needs, a different health situation, different ages. So when you sit with me, I'll be able to analyze and match you with your budget, your need, your age, and then that's how it should be done. But if you do it on your own, there will be a lot of assumptions you'll be able to do, and at the end of the day, you don't want to have a product which, in most cases, when you're called upon, when that call comes, you find that you have the wrong product. So it's strongly advisable, work with the experts. The Americans here, when a child is born, and I normally tell people so much, they know who is their agent, who is their car insurance, who is their banker, who is their dentist, who is their lawyer. They know almost everybody. They actually put on the fridge. But our people, they are scattered all over. When something happens, that is when they run around to start scrambling. Please, let's try to have all things together, that you know who is helping you, that if something happens, you call your expert and he will be able to answer you.
Thank you. The next question is to Lawrence. What happens if I'm a member and I relocate to Kenya? Will I be kicked out?
Well, we won't say kick out. If you relocate, then you're no longer in the diaspora. So what happens is when the term, because it's an annual membership, when that membership then expires, we will not renew it, because we'll be taking your money for nothing. So we'll be able to advise you to work with our partner like Resolution, where they have similar products, and then you can join them. But we do not kick people out.
Okay, thank you. And then one more question for Mrs. Moshene. You said you paid 2,000 for a headboard. Is this one-time fee, or is it something you have to pay monthly?
Did you say a headboard? I said we paid 12,000 between the funeral home and the cemetery. Then we paid another 2,400, which is the lowest. Some people pay even 5, even 10. It depends on the plate you choose. The plate, they write the name, and there is a place, a vase to put the flowers. So I think I took, like, if not the lowest, I took the second lowest. 2,400, and that's it. You won't pay any more money. And when you pay that money is when now you get the title to the plot. So they continue maintaining the graves without you paying more money. But I know people say that if you bury somebody here, you'll be paying every month some money. No. And the good thing with the cemetery we used, they have like over 100 cemeteries in the US. So in case I decide to move from here to Seattle, they have a cemetery there. So they'll just transfer my file there. Although I don't intend to relocate. I want to be buried next to my husband when the time comes.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Let me see. There's one more question here. And this one is for, I think I need to put on my glasses. Okay, it says, what is that word? Excuse me, 1 second. Let me get closer to the question. The question is if someone relocates back to their home country, does that mean that if they get posted to another country, they will be able to use your service?
I'm happy to answer that, and Vincent might have a different answer for his product. For AWA, if you purchased your membership while in the US and you are unfortunate to be sent to Russia, you keep the same membership. You do not need to change anything. In fact, our platform is the same worldwide. You'll be able, somebody in Ireland will be able to apply as though somebody, the same way somebody in Atlanta would. So there'll be no difference in coverage, no difference in benefit. So it would not matter. But I know for Vincent, I think on life insurance, if you are deemed to be in a riskier area, then there might be a different premium to cover for that.
Yes, during the application process, that is when we go through the application and the underwriting. That is when they will ask you if you are planning to relocate or travel outside your local area. More especially the products we deal with there in the US. So the underwriting and the risk assessment is done as per the US environment. So there's a question always there which asking you, are you planning to travel outside the country and stay maybe more than 2 years? If you answer the question yes, it's not for the purpose. This is another thing that people think that it is immigration questions. No, it's risk assessment. If you say yes, then a questionnaire comes up to ask you, where will you be going? Where will you be staying? And again, it is not anything scrutinous or to ask you anything. It's just to find out where you're going. A case in point is that if you're going maybe to Liberia or Cameroon, where there was Ebola and others, those things have to be taken into consideration. Or you're going to Iraq during the war zone or Afghanistan, those things are the ones they are looking at. They might deny you or they might chuck up the price, what Lawrence was saying earlier on. It's just a risk assessment, because remember, your insurance institution money, in return, they are promising you, if something happens, we will be there for you. So they are assessing what kind of a risk are you giving them. And then, of course, if you're not traveling anywhere or nothing happens within 2 years, we have what we call a contestability period, 2 years. So within 2 years, after the 2 years have ended, 2 years and 1 day, you can be anywhere and there's nothing happens. The insurance company is obligated to pay to honor the contract, because you, within the 2 years, everything went as per what you are told them.
And I think to add on to that, a good example is when you're buying your car insurance, they want to know what kind of safety features you have, security alarm, etc. If you don't have any of those things, your car insurance will be more, because they say we have then to assume the entire risk. There's nothing mitigating the loss of the car or the airbags, etc. It will cost you more. So the same way, if you go into a risky area, then it will cost more to offer that promise.
Okay, thank you for adding that. One more question for you, Lawrence, is, for example, like, let's assume that the late Mr. Moshene and Mrs. Moshene were on the plan. What happens to that if it was under Mr. Moshene? Does it automatically be something that now Christine will be left to be the owner?
Good question, Pauline. So in the event a member then passes on, would adjust to remove, of course, the departed, and then the spouse becomes the principal, but they also have to indicate if they want to go on. However, if they had paid the annual subscription and there's still time left, then they have then to assume that portion, and it is them to decide when it comes to renewal if they want to continue participating. But to answer you, that coverage still stays on because there will be dependents under that plan.
And to add on that, that's a good question, Pauline. It also occurs on the trust and the wills. Usually, the person who creates the will becomes the trust becomes the trustee, and then usually the spouse, it takes over unless otherwise stated. So these are some of the things that are actually supposed to be planning, that in case I'm not there, that comes down to the power of Anthony, that in case somebody is not able to execute those decisions, either medical or financial decision, who is going to take over? In most cases, it's usually the spouse, but if you decide otherwise, you have to put it down in writing. So that is what comes on to planning.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Once again, everybody, thank you very much for coming and taking your time today to share with us all these nuggets. And what we'll do is we'll just give everybody of the panelists 1 minute to give a final overview. If, let's say now, maybe there's something you had forgotten to add, you'd like to share, we can do that. So 1 minute for everybody. We are going to start with you, Mrs. Moshane.
Yeah, I had a question for Lawrence. They are paying 15,000 for somebody who wants to be buried here, and yet they are giving 50,000 to somebody who is being repatriated. Why that big difference?
It's a good question, Ms. Moshada. So somebody going to Africa, we built it in a way that they could be coming from Russia or Australia. That's where we had the 50,000. Now, and Vincent can back me up here. The cost of giving a benefit of 25,000 and 50,000 is negligible. So we could have gone with 25, but we're spending almost the same dollar amount to buy that insurance. So why don't put the 50, which for any eventuality, it is available. So it is not to discriminate and say those who are going, we treat them special. It's just, again, being prepared that we know there could be added cost more than when somebody is being buried in their residence country. I hope that answers you.
Yeah, okay, I understand. I was asking just in case somebody wanted to know. So
right.
I want to give 1 minute, and I think I have said all I needed to say. As one of the community leaders here in Atlanta, and I try to work with community leaders from all over the US, I would request all the leaders to talk, the leaders, the pastors, to talk to their people, because we have increased in this country, in this American diaspora, and actually everywhere. Let us prepare for our final resting place, whether it is where you live in diaspora or those who want to be taken home. There's no point of, I hear people always say, hey, mimi nikifa, mi nataka kuzikwa pahali baba yangu alizikwa. It is okay, we can do that. But can you plan? Like Mugare is saying, can you plan to be buried next to your father? Because when 2-3 people, like we have been having 2 deaths running currently here in Atlanta. So what happens, if you are known by many people, they give you money within a week. If you are not known, or if you are not engaged, you have not engaged yourself in a certain Kenyan church, it becomes so hard to raise the money. So if you want to be buried in Kisumu, Kakamega, Nyandarua, Murang'a, that is fine. But start planning. At least let us come to your house. We find there's money for shipping your body. Now we are just raising money maybe for the family. And if that is done, then we won't have a lot of quarrels and fighting, which I hear all the time. At hey, Boshene bwana yake alikufa within 3 days, alikuwa amepa kwa nini? So that will always be there. Who do you know? Who do you associate with? What church do you go? What organizations do you belong to? So to be on the safe side, you as the head of the family, whether a mother or a father, single parent, I think it is the high time we start preparing. I came to this country 2001 with my husband and 3 of our 4 children. But I'll tell you, this is something I started planning and dreaming 1995. And we only managed to get to this country 2001. So everything is planning. My hope was by the time my children become age to go to college, I wanted them to come to diaspora, either UK or America. So it is not something I woke up 2001 and I said, oh, in December, we are going to America. So we plan a lot of stuff in our lives, in the lives of our children. And that planning is good because through the planning we did with my husband to relocate here for education, at least now we can see all our children went through college. So if we are planning other things, let us plan about death. You can see I don't have one tooth because I had not planned about the dental insurance. So this is the time I'm thinking, if I had dental insurance, now they should have put this tooth. So it is planning. Everything needs to be planned. So I had to say that because I can see Lawrence has been looking at my mouth. I have to say. Yeah, if I had dental insurance now, at least I was saying, for I don't want the Zoom because I don't want people to see this. Anyway, it will be put, but it will cost me more because I did have dental insurance. So as we plan for our bodies when we arrive, let us also plan for our bodies when we are gone. And with that, I say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity even to share. And I hope this, whatever was recorded, we'll make it sure that most people listen to what we have said so that people can make a good informed decision to do something about their life after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Moshena. We appreciate your sharing. Next, we'll go to Mr. Mongare. 1 minute, please.
All right, thank you, and sorry about that, Ms. Mushena. I really enjoy your humor, and I always enjoy your comments in the various forums I've been with you. And as you said, planning. Our people need to be told that this is a reality. Whether you try to escape it or not, it's gonna come. The question is, when will it come? Will you be prepared? And then it is not about money. It is, where did you put the little money? Did you put it in a way that when that call comes, it will be there for you? And if not, then that's when you need to think twice. And then our people need to be told that the days when we're transferring our problems to the community are over. The community has grown so much that we cannot shoulder.
Yes.
Don't be the one who is adding more.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is that we are draining the community. There are some cases which need help. We are not able to help because the community is strained. Can we try, or as a personal level, can you try to help? Because it is not what you do, it is whose life have you touched, whose life have you changed. So if we can try to be responsible, putting our houses in order, putting our finances in order, we will enhance the community and the community will prosper. But the more we don't get organized, we drain the community, we get poor and poor. And as I normally tell people, the cost of not affording to put a plan together today, it becomes very, very expensive. So thank you so much. Good job. I'm looking forward to more discussions and meeting each one of you and discussing more.
Thank you very much. Last but not least, Lawrence, but we have a question here that came at the end. It said, you had mentioned something about having the groups or benevolent groups or chamas. Do you accommodate them, and is it at the same price or is it more expensive?
Thank you for that question. Yes, we work with chamas, any group out there that's already trying to address this need. We're able to work with them. Sadly, it is not more expensive. It's actually going to be cheaper if you're a group. If somebody is interested in seeing those rates, there are per group because each group's composition is different from the other. So to be able to get the pricing for a group, we need to have that discussion. We're happy again to share the contact. Pauline, I don't know if you'll be sharing the information or how we can get it to whoever is asking. We'll be able to address that.
Yes, we'll be sharing the information.
Thank you.
Okay.
And now it's my 1 minute.
Yes, you have your 1 minute now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moshana. I think your story is very compelling, and I wish we can have another forum where, you share things. I think you have a lot of wisdom. And in our communities, that is something that sometimes is lacking. On our end, AW and me personally, we are all about elevating each other. Vincent and I go back a long way. We were kind of in the same line, but we never pulled each other down. We said, let's push each other up. There's enough. What I've seen, unfortunately, in our community is trying to bring each other down. And I've never understood that concept. Bringing somebody down does not raise you up at all. All it means is that one person is down, you're going to be at the same level you are. But if that is how we want to measure our success, that is a sad way of doing things. So we need to uplift each other. We need to elevate each other. And that is the only way as a community that we can do better. So I hope, Pauline, that another time you can put a similar thing. We don't have to be talking about product. We can just talk about other things that we're able to do in the community, learn from each other, share ideas. Anytime people get together and talk, you'd never leave that forum knowing less than you knew. The worst that can happen is you leave there knowing the same things you knew. That's a chance I'm willing to take anytime. Thank you again to all the participants and Pauline and your group for putting this together.
All right. Thank you very much. We have George Gedido, who has left a message on the chat. He says, thanks to the team for the insightful information and courage to confront the elephant in the room. And I definitely second George on that. This is something that is also very dear to me because it's just like the way Vincent said, it's important to put your affairs in your home right. And just like Ms. Moshene said, when it comes to you wanting to have your final rights being processed in Kenya, please plan for it, And thank you very much, everybody. Lawrence, Vincent, and Ms. Moshene. This was a wonderful event we had here. Unfortunately, we missed Mr. Nganga, but I think Lawrence caught a little bit of what he does very well. So thank you very much for all the participants who joined us live on this Zoom call, as well as on all the other different forums that we had available. Once again, thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Mimi kufanya tu hivi.